The 8K4 pre-gen map in 7 Days to Die will no doubt provide a very unique experience. Now, the map itself has all of the things you would want. It's got lots of POIs, it's got books everywhere, it's got lots of Tier 5 action, but the biomes are laid out in a very unique fashion. Although we're going to be going through the 8K4 map here, the same basic layout is the same with all of the 4 pre-gens. So 6K4, 4K4, etc. will be laid out just like 8K4 here. Let's hop on in and take a look at the map. Now, first off, we see the biome selection. Very strange. Starting off in the very far east, we've got a small forest area that is completely enclosed by burnt forest, which then has desert wrapping around the majority of it. The snow biome around it, with the snow biome peeking in on the burnt forest up at the top, and then last but not least, the wastelands. Now, one real key thing I think would be relatively easy on this map as far as basic exploration. If you're in a biome and you want to explore, say, all of the forest, just go north and south, as there's not a whole lot of east and west to it. However, there is still an ample amount of POIs. Now, taking a look at the trader locations, we've got 3 traders in the forest, we've got 4 in the burnt forest, 4 in the desert, 4 in the snow, and 4 in the wastelands. So no shortage of traders here, 19 total traders throughout the map. Now, if you're playing through trader quest progression, this means it's going to take you from east to west through the map. You're going to start off in the forest here. That's going to send you to the burnt forest, then to the desert, then to the snow, and then finally to the wastelands. Now, 7 Days to Die is all about the books, no doubt, and there is a ton of book containers throughout this map. Book containers, or books in general, of course, can be found in literally any POI. As we see, the entire map is riddled. However, there is much larger book density in the main cities. With that in mind, you are going to want to hit up the Crack-A-Book POIs. These, of course, are bookstores that are going to specialize in having a large amount of books in them. Starting off in the forest here, right in that center city, there is a country Crack-A-Book. Over in the burnt forest, in that northern area, there is a regular Crack-A-Book retail store. The desert is full of Crack-A-Books. Starting all the way up north, we got a Crack-A-Book store. In the next city down, we've got a country Crack-A-Book. And then in the main city, we've got a Crack-A-Book headquarters and another Crack-A-Book store. Over in the snow biome, in that central city, there is a regular Crack-A-Book retail store. And then in the southern city, another one, a Crack-A-Book retail location. And then there's 3 locations, one in each city in the burnt forest. Starting up north, there's a Crack-A-Book store. In the middle, there is a Crack-A Cafe. And then another Crack-A Cafe to the south. So with this in mind, in my opinion, these 2 Crack-A-Books that are in the wastelands, the central and the south one, are the 2 Crack-A-Books that you want to make sure that you do not miss. These are just going to be packed full of books, and in my experience, seems like a better POI for books than even the Crack-A-Book headquarters that's back over in the desert. Shotgun Messiahs and gun ranges are an absolute blast to raid, and we've got no shortage of those. Starting in the forest, we've got a Shotgun Messiah range all the way down on that southern forest town. In the burnt forest, right in the center, there's another range. In the main downtown area, you got a Tier 5 Shotgun Messiah factory. That will be a must stop. In the snow biome, we've got a Shotgun Messiah range. And then 3 locations in the wastelands. A Shotgun Messiah range, a ransacked Shotgun Messiah, and another Shotgun Messiah range down to the southern city. Now, I personally am a big fan of the range type POIs, and the Close Encounters is another Shotgun Messiah type POI that is an absolute blast to attend. It's a Tier 4 POI, so it will be slightly harder. However, you can get started on them right away. There is one right in the forest, a Close Encounters gun range up at the northern end. In the Burnt Forest, you've got another Close Encounters gun range. In the desert, Close Encounters in the south and all the way up in the very north cities. And then last but not least, there's one in that central city over in the Wastelands. Now, when it comes to finding that Shamway recipe, you will no doubt get it from a Trader Quest reward. In my opinion here, once again, it's not even worth looking for, as it's so common in Trader Quest rewards that you're just going to pick it up. But if you're not doing Trader Quest or you want to find it naturally, you're going to be able to find this in any Shamway type container. There's a Shamway warehouse in the Burnt Forest up here in that northern city. In the southern desert forest, there is a downtown Shamway location. Over in the south of the snow biome, there's another downtown Shamway. Then in the southern city of the Wastelands, there is a Shamway processing. And then up north, there's another Shamway processing and a downtown Shamway location. Now, if you want the guaranteed or more guaranteed chance of finding that location, then you are going to want to crack a Shamway lab safe. Shamway lab safes are never located inside of a Shamway. The first one is going to be at the NDC Checkpoint 2. Every time there's an NDC Checkpoint 2 on any playthrough you ever do, there will be a Shamway lab safe inside of it. And then if we head over to the Wastelands, there is a Massive Gains Mall. Same goes for that. And then at the very south, there is another NDC Checkpoint 2, just kind of out on the road here as you traverse from the snow biome to the Wastelands. So these Shamway lab safes will have a greater chance of having that Shamway recipe. Overall, we've got an abundant amount of Tier 5 POIs throughout the map. There's 25 of them on this map. We've got 2 of them in the Burnt Forest, one at that northern city, it's a Grover High, and then all the way down in the southern town of the Burnt Forest, we've got a U.S. Army Post number 7. Now, the desert is absolutely jam-packed full of Tier 5 POIs. Let's start off all the way up north. We've got a U.S. Army Post number 7 and a Grover High School right down the road in that northern city. Always out in the middle of nowhere, never in a city, is the Red Mesa compound, and then all the way over at the border to the snow biome, there's going to be another U.S. Army Post number 7. And then in that southern desert city, you have got a Shotgun Messiah factory, Karen Higashi residence, you've got a Navisgain Corrections, an Ostrich Hotel, a Crack-A-Book headquarters, a Higashi Pharmaceutical, a Grover High, and then another U.S. Army Post number 7, and then a Vanity Tower as well. In the snow biome, you're going to have one all the way up in that northern town. It's a Grover High. And then if you come down to the southern biome, southern snow biome town, you're going to have a Poppin' Pills factory, a Minotaur Theater, a Navisgain County Jail, and a Haven Hotel POI. And then last but not least, in the Wastelands, you're going to have an Ostrich Hotel in that northern city, a U.S. Army Post number 7, a Vanity Tower. In that more central city, there's going to be a Grover High. And then right in the middle of downtown in that southern city is Dishong Tower. Now, this one, I got mixed emotions on it. You know, normally, for me personally, I like to end up in the Wastelands where you're going to get the highest game stage. And then additionally, there's usually some large cities there, which there is no doubt here. However, the desert is so jam-packed. I think this particular map might be really good for someone who wanted a desert biome. You've got lots of Tier 5 POIs in that southern desert city, and just lots of things to do. So when it comes to hidden bunkers or hidden bomb shelters and secret bunkers, we do have those 2 POIs that always contain them. First off, there's going to be a Bart Salvage right in the forest area in that southern town. There's going to be another Bart Salvage in that centralized Burnt Forest city. And then all the way down south, kind of down by the lakes in the desert, there's going to be a Hexagon Hideaway. Now, Bart Salvage is a regular old salvage yard. If you go through and run the POI, when you get to the back half of the salvage yard, you will see the entrance going down into the bomb shelters. The Hexagon Hideaway is a lot easier to miss, as it's just going to be a shack that's out here in the middle of nowhere. If you could go in and explore the shack, there's always going to be an enemy inside, and then if you go around to the back, you're going to see a small shed with a switch. Once you hit that switch, it's going to open up the basement area, which is going to take you down into a vault and a full bomb shelter down below. And then, of course, in addition to the bomb shelters, there are some secret bunkers as well. And the first one would be Hidden Hollow. There's 2 of these locations, one in the forest up in the northern section, and then one in the snow in the south area in between the 2 southern cities. Hidden Hollows are another one that's going to be easy to miss, as it just looks like it's a car parked out in the middle of nowhere. If you see any cars just parked out just in the wilderness, make sure you look around for an air vent. You find the air vent, and then in between the air vent and the car, there is always going to be the hatch that's leading down into the Hidden Hollow POI. In addition to Hidden Hollow, we've also got the Prepper's Den. There's one up in the northern part of the Wastelands, and then one in the northern part of the Burnt Forest, and then one all the way down in the southern area, all the way to the southern corner in the Wastelands. Now, the Prepper's Dens, these are going to be super, super easy to miss. No real discernible markers. There always is a pipe coming up out of the ground, which is an air vent, and then there's usually a lamp right next to the hatch. If you see any lamps or pipes out in the middle of nowhere, go over for a closer look, and that will take you down into the Prepper's Den. If you plan on doing some farming in 7 Days to Die, you will no doubt want the recipe for some supercorn. Supercorn is going to be located in one of 2 POIs, both of them very easy to obtain. There's going to be Bob's Boars and Carl's Corn locations, and then there's going to be the NDC Checkpoint 3 locations. Taking a look around the map, there is an NDC Checkpoint 3 right in the forest at that southern town. The Burnt Forest has a Bob's Boars and Carl's Corn. Up at the desert, you've got Bob's Boars and Carl's Corn. In that center city, there is yet another Bob's Boars. And then all the way over to the Wastelands, there's 2 locations. You got an NDC Checkpoint 3 right on the eastern outskirts of that northern city, and then a Bob's Boars and Carl's Corn all the way over to the western side of the central Wasteland city. Now, when you're running these POIs, you don't actually have to run either of them. However, I will say the NDC Checkpoint 3 POI is a super fun one to run. If you don't feel good about running the POI, or you just don't want to take the time, you can just slam through the fence right here, and the supercorn recipe and some starter seeds to get you going will always be located inside of this little kind of outdoor modular housing compartment. The Bob's Boars and Carl's Corn is no different. For that one, you can just smash right through the front door. The supercorn will always be located right there to the right. And then if you go up the stairs and clear out the local residents, flip some switches, you're going to get access to a hatch to go inside of the supercorn reservoir, where you can loot that supercorn, but then additionally get some supercorn seeds and the recipe in the chest down below. Every map has hidden stash locations. Hidden stashes are a loot container, looks like a cardboard box, that there is a very limited amount of them on every map, and it can contain a wide variety of things. Now, I personally usually don't go out of my way to get these hidden stashes, as I've never really gotten anything really good out of them. However, if you're there, they are fun little things to go after. They're going to be inside of set POIs as well. Starting off in the forest here, you got the Serrano residence in the very north end of the forest, and you've got a Wright residence in the very south end of the forest. In the Burnt Forest here, you're going to have the Serrano residence right in the middle of the map, and then the Mushroom Mining Company just west of it. There's quite a few locations through the desert. Starting up top there, you got a Mushroom Mining Company. Just below it, there's a Wright residence. And then over at the outside edge, western edge of the desert biome, there's going to be a Serrano residence there. And then there's going to be a Wright residence slightly below. Over here in the middle of kind of nowhere in the desert, there's going to be a right residence. And then all the way down south, another Serrano residence. Now, in the snow biome, we've got many locations as well. We've got a mushroom mining company right here, the right residence. We've got an Erickson residence right downtown, another mushroom mining company that is on the, on the road in between the two major snow biome cities. And then in the wastelands, we've got a Serrano residence all the way at the bottom of the map there. And then on that kind of southwestern edge, we've got a right residence. Now, the key to finding these hidden stashes, besides the houses, they're commonly located kind of like up inside of the roof, like up in the rafters. So you won't always have direct access there. You might have to smash your way in, or there could be a little hidden door getting up into them somewhere. In addition to that, anything that has an underground cavern, you just want to look up. If you see any sort of opening in the ceiling underground area, that is likely going to contain a hidden stash. And then it is always super fun to hit up the skyscrapers. We've only got 4 skyscraper type buildings on this map. You got 2 of them in the desert biome in that southern city, and then there's 2 over in wastelands in the southern city as well. So you've got a tower construction site, a Dishong Tower, then a Higashi Pharmaceutical, and a Crack-a-Book. That's the only skyscrapers available on this one. However, the metropolitan areas are fairly dense. There's just a lot of stuff in cities. If we take a look again at just all the POIs, it's packed full. All of the major cities are. That is very, very normal. But this particular map is going to really require you to have a unique playthrough. It's very unconventional compared to the other maps. I'll definitely do a playthrough on this one at some point in time. However, it's definitely got that very distinct loadout of everything going in the columns from east to west. So that is a look at the Pregen08K4 map in 7 Days to Die. As we're wrapping it up and going through the rest of these maps, I'm doing them in no particular order, so if there's one you'd like to see, make sure to leave me a comment down below, and I will get that map up on the agenda next or sooner. But thanks a ton for watching, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time around. Take it easy.